Hey everybody, my name is Steve Gandera, PDGA number 81040, rated 861, and I'm from Thornton, Colorado. So just coming here with my guys Max and Sleef. We're going and they asked me to do it in the bag, so I thought that was pretty cool, so I thought I'd participate. So first I'm going to just talk about my throwing putters. I know a lot of people think the Suspect and Harp are at mid-range, but I think they're deep and I think they fly like putters, so they're putters to me, and this is America and I can say that. So first I got I believe this is a VIP plastic Harp, just a really solid thrower. It's actually pretty straight with an overstable finish, so I like to throw it when it's a little bit longer upshot. I like to get a lot of power on it, and then it just comes pretty easy for me, so that's why I really like this Harp. Second, I have this Suspect. It's in a classic blend burst plastic. First of all, it looks great, so that's why you buy it, because it looks cool, not necessarily because it throws great, but it throw great, so it's kind of awesome. So I really like this one for short up shots, maybe a forehand approach in maybe the 50 to 60 feet range. Just a really solid disc. Throwing putter, I've got a classic blend Marshall here. Most of these discs are 175 and this one's 175 too. Just a really comfortable disc. Nice flight, not too overstable, not too understable, just really reliable. The classic blend is surprisingly, durable, so I really like that. And then I'm not one of those cool people that have doubles, and the reason is because I can't find another gray smoke burst like this Marshall here. So until then, I'll only be rolling with one, so if I lose this, I'm in a lot of trouble. But I really like this disc. Super comfortable. It's got a very micro bead on it. It's really nice when I'm putting. It doesn't get in the way, and it's not quite as deep as the P2s like I was putting before. So I don't have the biggest hands, so I really like that. So there's my putters. We're going to go through the course and we're going to get some more info for you. All right, guys, we're here at hole 4, Adams Hollow Disc Golf Course. I didn't mention that that's where we're playing today. I'm already up by 4, not a big deal. All right, here we go. First one I got here is a Dynamic Discs Evidence. This is one of the original Trilogy Challenge ones, excuse me. I wipe the stamp off because I'm cool, and then I like to sign it because I'm cool. But this one's a really solid disc. Flies really straight. If I throw it really hard, it'll start to pan a little right, but then it comes back. I really trust this one, and not a lot of windy conditions, but I really like it because I don't need to throw it hard for it to go far. And I think that's really valuable with a player like me that doesn't have the fastest arm speed. I can really rely on this to do a lot for me. Second one I have here is another Trilogy Challenge Evidence. This one's more overstable. It's a lot more new. I don't really pull this one out a lot, only when it's a little bit too much, or my other mid-range, which is a Verdict, is a little bit too much than overstability that I need. So then I'll pull out this bad boy. I like this one too. If it's a little bit windy and I don't want that Verdict, I want something a little straighter, that's what I pull. So this is another Evidence. It's 180 grams, another Trilogy Challenge, sweet stamp. I'm a big fan of, I don't know what this stamp is called, but it's a good time. The other one I have here is a Verdict. I think this is one of the most underrated discs in the entire Trilogy lineup. Super overstable. It's really nice flight. I can throw it really hard and then go straight for a long time, then come back. It's super reliable. I have a Fusion Burst plastic. I got this as a misprint. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those ones that has a shallow rim, but while still being pretty overstable. So I can really count on this one. The Fusion that I like from Dynamic Discs is just really comfortable in the hands. Now, sometimes I had a problem with this disc because it was overstable at the beginning, but then it got a little bit more straight stable. So I really wanted something a little more beefy. So to fix that, I got a Lucid Verdict. I really like these Lucid Verdicts, especially in this white plastic. The Lucid plastic from Dynamic is super grippy, super reliable in wet conditions, and this one's pretty beefy, and I'm a big fan of that. Like I said, I don't really pull for the really beefy stuff like the Justices and stuff. I just don't have the arm speed for those discs to be really useful for my game, and I think that's one of the biggest strengths of my games is I find the discs that work for me and not the discs that work for everybody else. I just tailor my game to my game. And then lastly, this is kind of a fun one. I don't really ever throw this one, but this is one of the first discs I ever got. My wife bought this for me on Valentine's Day a long time ago. This is a 12-time KC Pro Rock. I think this disc is like 6 years old. It used to be a go-to, but when I started switching plastic, I didn't really throw it much, but it's just one disc that'll never come out of my bag. It's sort of a good luck charm. Even in the bad rounds, I can pull it out and still, know that I have people that support me in everything that I do. So those are my mid-range guys. We'll catch you in a couple holes. All right, guys, we're now on hole 10. Let's check it out. There's been a big swing. I'm only up 2 now, so it's been an interesting set of holes, but we thought it's a good time to talk about the fairways I throw. The fairways actually make up a pretty big bulk of my bag. I like them because they got a smaller rim, and you don't really need to throw them that hard to get them to go pretty far and consistent. So I'd like to say that these are probably my favorite style of disc in my bag. So the first one I got here is a Lucid First Run Maverick. I like this for just straight shots. If I throw it hard, it turns over stable. It's got a ton of glide. It didn't quite replace the Discmania FD for me, but it does well enough, so I can be okay with that. So next one here is probably my all-time favorite disc. Not this one in particular, but this run of disc, I should say, a mold. This is a Trident. This is a super special edition. Shout out to Kyle Giovannini. He's the one who gave me this. He's on Team Dynamic. Really awesome disc. Super utility. It's a 7-speed, but I feel it's a lot slower than that. Super overstable. It's essentially a dinner plate. Really comfortable rim for forehands, for backhands. Just super utility. I like to throw spike hyzers with this, force flexes. I've got a lot of use. So if you haven't tried to Trident, and you can find one pretty cheap, I super recommend this disc. The next one here is, I think, one of the best discs in the Trilogy lineup, and that's an Explorer. So the first one I have here is an Opto Explorer. I got this at a tournament, and I didn't really throw it, and then the first time I threw it, I was really upset that I didn't throw it a lot sooner than I did. This disc is just money. It's super straight, got a nice finish. I could throw it hard and it's still straight with a nice finish. I could throw it soft, straight with a nice finish. I just really love the versatility of this disc. It's super comfortable. It really reminds me of a T-Bird, which was an important disc early in my disc golfing career, if you'd like to call it that, but I really like this one. And then this is my overstable version of that same disc. This is a Fusion Burst Explorer. Picked this one up pretty cheap on dynamicdisc.com, so I was pretty pumped about this one. This one's got that nice Fusion feel, really hard finish. Really like it for just a really soft, maybe 300 and in backhand, where I don't really have to put a lot on it to get it to where I want to go. So I really rely on this disc in my game. Jumping up in speed, these are my 9 speeds. This is probably in the fairway class one of my favorites as well, and that's an Escape. Players in my class who throw about 300 to 325 don't have a lot of arm speed. If you don't have this disc, get this disc. This is an incredible disc. It's such a further flyer. It's a Glide 6, and I'd even argue it's a 7. It just goes for days. Super comfortable. The Lucid one is a little more understable than my other two, but I still count on it for when I've got those natural flex shots that I want to throw without having to force one over. When I want just a little bit more stability, I go to my Moonshine Escapes. This is my green one. This one's seasoned. Really nice beat in. This one I can really crank on. I can get some serious distance out of this bad boy pretty much effortlessly. Second one is the same exact mold, same exact weight, but this one's a little more stable. It's newer. I don't throw it that often to keep it as new as possible so that I can really get that consistent flight. But what I like about this one is when I really put it on there, it is on a dime the entire time, and then just a nice consistent skip that's not too crazy, so I can really count on this disc all the time. It's not the best disc for snow, but I love it, so fight me. And then last one here is if it's just a little bit too windy for these guys, I pull out the Convict. It's pretty much utility, kind of like the Trident is. It's one of those ones that I really like to flight. It's got this, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's got this weird pinkish glow, and I think that's the reason why I bought it. I don't really throw it that often. I think it's just cool, and it just belongs in the bag because it's cool. One thing I did forget, I do have an extra fairway. I forget about it because I don't throw it that often. It's a Felon, super awesome, super overstable, super beefy. I don't belong throwing it because I can't make it go that far, but when there's the headwind, it makes me seem like I'm a really good player because I can mash a Felon, so I kind of like that going. But super reliable disc. It's really comfortable in the hand. If you're switching over and you're not sure what that Firebird disc is, I'd recommend a Felon. So we're gonna keep on playing, guys. Hopefully I can pull this one through. Alrighty, guys, we're on hole 15, and like the 861 player I am, rated player, I'm now down by 1. So folks, it's a nail biter. Anyways, let's get down to the drivers here. I carry 4 different molds because I'm still trying to figure out this whole driver thing. I'm pretty confident in the rest of my bag. The drivers, I'm kind of all over the place, but right now I'm a big fan of the sword. This one, I mean, I'm a big fan, but I only got one in the bag. So, but here's the sword here. It's my flippy sword. I like it because it's the most beat in of all my drivers, so I keep it in there because of that. Really nice flight. I can hyzer flip this bad boy. I can force turn over this bad boy, or I can just normal and hyzer this guy. Really nice disc. Most of my drivers are in the 13, 12 speed range. Again, the small hands, it's what's comfortable for me is more important than what's, you know, flying the best, I guess. So, good old West Side sword here. Next, I have a Trespass. This one I got from a random dude, and I traded him a putter, and he gave me a driver, so I was pretty pumped about that. This is a Louisiana AM Champs, a tournament I've never been to, probably will never go to. But this is a really nice one here. It's actually surprisingly a little bit understable, even out of the bag, so it might have been field tested, but that's okay with me. It's nice to have a driver that's already beat in kind of for me, and I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to throw it against a tree or do any extracurricular beating in, so to speak. So this one's a really nice one. It's about 169, 168. That's about where I like to keep my drivers. That's the most comfortable for me. I know that it really, to some people, it doesn't matter, but to me, I like them in that range. So here's a nice Lucid Trespass. And then this one's actually a really cool disc. This is a Fusion Burst Trespass. I got this from Wonderland Brewing Co. If you haven't heard of them, they're in Westminster, Colorado. They're a wonderful little brewery. Kevin Galloway, he's a master brewer there. He's a wonderful dude. He brews a lot of great beers and he plays a lot of tournaments. So if you're in the Westminster area in Colorado, definitely check out his brewery. He's got baskets in the back. They run putting leagues. He's got ping pong tables and all sorts of stuff. So that's a quick plug for Wonderland Brewery. Love their stuff, love their product, and they have some gems in that place. So if you're looking for some Trilogy gems, go to Wonderland Brewing. Next one I got here is a Raider. I like this one because, like the Trespass, if there's a little wind, they get a little squirrely. So I like the Raider. It's a speed 13, but the rim isn't too crazy, so it's still comfortable for me to grip. It's a nice, just overstable disc for me. I can throw it really hard, and it'll go straight for about 200 feet and then have a nice consistent fade at the end. It doesn't dump like some of my other overstable discs, but I really rely on this guy when I just need that left turn, but I don't want to, you know, really beef up and go to some discs that are just a little too beefy for me. So I really appreciate this disc. If you haven't tried it, this would be one that if you want something that's a little straighter but with a consistent finish, I recommend the Raider. And then lastly here is one of my favorite discs. This is another Valentine's disc for my wife, so it's another one that's never going to come out of my bag. I throw it for utility only. It's an Enforcer. It's super overstable, but it's got a picture of my dogs on them, Max, or Noodle and Max. Really love this disc. It's one of those ones you just grip it and skip it, I like to say. So really like that there. Really fun, and it's an Enforcer. Like I said, speed 12. It's 174 grams. It's just, when the wind's going, this is what I grab. So that's it for my drivers, and produce the rest of my bag. At the end here, we'll talk a little more, but I'm going to try to pull this round out. Pray for me, y'all. All right, guys. Thank you for all for showing up today. Just talk about my performance today. Fell short again. You know, it seems to be pretty typical. Lost by 2. I made a little push at the end there. Got a birdie on 17, but I just couldn't convert on 18. It's just going to go back to the locker room, think about this loss, and get ready for the next one. But just the last couple things here, just a few shout outs here. Got a grip bag. That's what I carry my stuff in. Actually, I don't carry it at all. I have a cart, obviously, because who wants to carry things? So nice grip bag. I actually bought it from Max. I had a grip, then I switched over to another company, didn't like it, so I went right back to the grip. And then I have this cart here. It's a Zuka XL, big fan. I take my dogs disc golfing a lot, so I like the versatility of being able to cart wherever I want or attach them to the cart and go make a shot, not having to worry about trying to fumble a backpack on my back. Yeah, and then we'll just get a few things about me personally. First disc I ever had was actually an AVR P&A, real nice throwback DX AVR P&A, which quickly got replaced as I got hooked like 3 rounds in. Quickly got replaced by an MVP, a Node I think it was called. I threw that disc all the time. And then I had this one beautiful putt that was so beautiful. It was 15 feet short in the water and it disappeared forever. So I still think about that disc sometimes. That was a little painful. And then one fun question, if I could go have 3 card mates on probably a casual round, I'm thinking Gateway Nico LaCastro, because that's when he was like really hothead but playing really well. So I just like to see that. I'm thinking 2013 Sustrick, because that's right when he switched over from Innova to Prodigy, and there was a lot of beef, and he was playing with a lot of game, a lot of pride, a lot of like, hey, I'm gonna stick up to everybody who thinks I'm not gonna do well. So, and he's just a specimen, so it'd be fun to watch. And then I think I would like to play with 2013 Paul in that same card. I think it would be awesome to have Will and Paul in the same card, and kind of that low-key hatred Paul had for Will doing that switch in the game. But just want to thank you all for watching this video. It's been a fun time showing you my bag and getting through this nice winter round. We're kind of blessed in Colorado to be able to play these, you know, middle of November rounds and still have a decent time and not freeze our butts off. So thanks for tuning in. Catch some more from Drop Zone.